I got a response about America can't manufacture. Back when I was starting out and our government basically sold out to all these other countries over there. There's some good ones over there. I'm not talking smack about a lot of them. But I am going to talk a lot of smack about the CCP, not the Chinese people. I have no beef with the Chinese people. And people are trying to live just like we are here. But the CCP seems to think that America can't manufacture anymore. Well, I want to tell you something. We got one thing that you guys will never have, apparently. I don't know about the Chinese people, but the CCP will never have. And that's Jesus Christ, okay? During World War II, they said that behind every blade of grass was an American with a gun. And you know what made those guns? Manufacturing in America. We weren't a big, huge manufacturing base at that point. We were getting there, but we weren't huge yet. And when, you know, the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, the old saying, they awoke the sleeping dragon. Well, China seems to be a sleeping dragon these days too, but they ain't so asleep, and they're very boastful. And one thing us Americans do is we let our enemies do all the boasting, and we let our actions do the talking. That's the difference. The Dems sold us out, started around the Clinton age, and then Obama came in, and he said that these jobs will never come back to America, which made me spitting mad. I was in a decent shop. I was coming up, and my shop was getting bigger and stronger and better. And then all of a sudden, our government sold us out, sold all those jobs and manufacturing jobs overseas to China, you know, a few other places too, but got no beef with them. I got a beef with China. The playing field with all these other countries is not level. These tariffs are not level. And what Trump seems to be doing, I'm not a Trump supporter and I'm not a hater, and I'm not definitely not a Democrat, definitely not a Republican. I am a constitutionalist. I believe in the Constitution. I believe in the rule of law. And I believe in the rule of law all around the world, not just here, okay? Everybody should deserve a fair shake on an even playing field. And at the end of the day, Trump's big talk is just trying to get us to the negotiating table and trying to get us on an even playing field. What's wrong with that? CCP seems to have a problem with it. They're calling us the bully. While they're in the South China Sea bullying all those countries over there, they're calling us a bully. They're calling us a bully when it's insane. They're trying to take over Taiwan. They're going to attack Taiwan and all this garbage. They're the bully, not us. And they've been a bully for a long time. If our government invested 1/4 of what the CCP invested into their manufacturing base, if our government invested 1/4 of what them people invested into our manufacturing base, China, you ain't got a chance. Because there's a lot of people over here that went into the garage. This little garage you're seeing behind me here, that's the remnants of my shop after you guys started doing what you did. Now I've got this little shop here. All this equipment's paid for. It ain't the greatest, but it puts out a good product. It's American made. Stuff doesn't come back because of flaws, because we check things and we make sure things are right, and we use good steel when we can get it. There's a silent majority in this country that ain't talking. We don't talk, we do. And you guys are going to find that out the hard way. And thank God we have a president that can actually do business. We actually have an advocate for guys like me, the small manufacturers that are still out here trying to do things. This little Chinese bike right here, I've had to replace every part on that thing except for the frame. I'll give them credit where credit's due. That Sur Ron right there, the frame's the only thing left. I have had to touch everything else on that thing to make it live. I've had to remanufacture the jack shaft, put new bearings, the right bearings for the right application in there. Got that taken care of. Had to put a KX100 front end on it so I didn't die every time I jumped the things. I'm afraid the stupid forks that the Chinese put on there were gonna break. I had to put good brakes on there. There's some Japanese parts on there. There's a Brembo rear caliper on there. There's some rims on there that were made out of Cycle Specialties. I forgot the place, out of Colorado, but it's a pretty good place. Did the rims for me. I had to make the tank, had to extend the seat back, had to make the cover for the controller, had to order a new motor for it. And the motor's out of China, but it was a well-made motor. Some of the stuff coming out of the Chinas these days is pretty good, but for a very long time, we suffered because of the garbage that you guys were selling. So the little rolls you see back there, that's America's manufacturing right there. We're keeping all the old garbage that's running in this country. Us little guys are the ones that are keeping the machines running. We just need an equal playing field. That's what our president's doing. And I'm going to tell you, if the American government invests anything into my shop, I guarantee you I'll kick the pants off the Chinese manufacturing any day of the week. You guys got to remember, you guys copy, we create and innovate, okay? Your manufacturing, you go look at all the Chinese manufacturing, all their factories. What are they mimicking? That's right, Henry Ford. Henry Ford is the man who began the assembly line in the manufacturing lines. He's the man who innovated that. The Chinese are copying it. And the Chinese got very successful at it because they're copying America. That's what they do. Look at their stealth bombers and their stealth jets and all this crap. What are they trying to do? They're trying to copy our stealth stuff. Very bad. They're very bad at it. They can't even build a jet engine that works for very long. They have to have a jet engine from Russia so they can live in the air. That new bomber has 3 jet engines because their jet engines suck. That's why it has 3 jet engines. So if they have an engine out, they got 2 more. They have another engine out, they got 1 left. That's why it has 3 jet engines, okay? The Chinese, I got nothing wrong with the people. The government is who I got a problem with, and they are bullies in the world. My wife comes from the Philippines. I went to the Philippines and stayed with her for about 3 months. And I got to see firsthand how the Chinese treat those people. They're bullies. I don't like the Chinese government. They are bullies. America has its problem with being bullies too, but that was the last administration. This administration seems to be trying to get things back in order. You know, there's a lot of things going on, and boy, we can get into that rabbit hole, but I'm not going to, talking about manufacturing. The one thing I will say is, I already said it, but I'm going to say it again. If our government invests 1/4 into our manufacturing that the Chinese, the CCP, invested into theirs, you will bring all the silent majority back out, and you will awaken the sleeping giant again. I'm just a little guy out here, little shop, no big deal. But I'll tell you what, us little guys in these little shops that survived our government basically trying to give all our jobs away, we survived and we got stronger and leaner. And I'll tell you what, this stuff's all paid for, it ain't going anywhere. And it's gonna keep making parts until I die. And the parts I'm gonna make are gonna be 10 times better than the garbage coming out of China. That bike right there runs and keeps on the road because all the crap I had to make for it to keep it on the road. Everything kept breaking. The good examples of jack shaft on it, they use a ball bearing. It's like a skateboard ball bearing, okay? The ball bearing is not an application for the jack shaft on that bike. I used a roller bearing. It's on my channel. You can skip through my videos and you can see what we did there, but it's just one example of how they just slap stuff together, and it's really sickening to see our country go downhill and our government sell us out. And I'm really happy that we have Trump in there right now. And to the American people that are talking crap about Trump and what he's doing, you guys need to grow some balls, because what Trump is doing, it ain't gonna be pretty. It's gonna be hard. Yeah, prices are gonna go up for a little while. Made in America is gonna cost more. But the thing is, the trade-off is made in America is gonna last 3 times, 4 times, 5 times longer. So you're gonna get your money back. You know, that's the thing. That's the thing everybody seems to neglect to talk about, is the fact when you have something made in America, it lasts a long time and it does the job. Look at our military. You know, I mean, there's a good portion of that stuff that's made in other countries, but when it comes back here, if it doesn't pass inspection, it doesn't get put on the plane. That's why our planes stay in the air. That's why our jet engines don't fail. You know, it's the American spirit's alive. It just doesn't go around bragging like the CCP does. We've been here silent for long enough. Now we got a commander and a chief that's a good leader. I'm coming out. I guarantee you there's a lot of guys like me out there that are going to come out of the woodwork, and we're going to make this country strong again. These hands are going to make this country strong again. You can bet on it. I guarantee it. And with God on our side, you can't stop us, CCP. You just can't. Let's get it.